Hello and welcome. Thank you very much today for joining us on Corporate Corridor. I'm Zain Soharwardi, and today we're talking about the banking industry of Pakistan, especially with particular emphasis on Citibank. Now, Citibank has been in Pakistan for the past 48 years. They started their operations in Pakistan back in 1961 January. They have a branch network of about 26 branches in Pakistan. Going forward, they've also brought in many innovative and products, and they were the first to do so in Pakistan. They brought the first credit card in Pakistan. They were the first to negotiate a government of Pakistan foreign currency sukuk. They were the first bank to hedge oil for Pakistan, and the list just goes on. And we'll talk about all of that, Citibank's role in Pakistan, what future perspective they have, and going forward, how the banking industry of Pakistan is likely to perform. And to talk to us about all of that today on Corporate Corridor, we're joined by Mr. Arif Usmani, the Managing Director and Country Head for Citibank Pakistan. Thank you very much, Mr. Usmani, for joining us today. Now Mr. Usmani, we've spoken about Citibank. Citibank's been in Pakistan for a long time. It's been a long journey for Citibank. The past 1.5, 2 years have been bad, not only for Citibank, but for the banking industry in general. So if you look back, how do you see these past 2 years?
Well, as you said yourself, Citibank's been here in 1961. Ups and downs are part of a business. We've seen our share of ups and downs in Pakistan. I think that the last 18 months have been particularly severe, both because of the global issues as well as domestic issues. You know, the Pakistan economy suffered because of high oil prices and the twin deficits, domestic as well as foreign currency on the trade side. So, you know, the franchise and the Citibank operation in Pakistan, ability to respond to some of that crisis has been hampered or reduced because of our own international issues. True. I mean, we would have been far more active, I think. So there has been some impact of our international, you know, the downsides of the international economy on our operations in Pakistan. But for most of the time, we've stuck to what we are good at. We deal with a very select group of customers for a very long time, and we've had a very loyal and you know, long-standing group of customers where we continue to operate. We've had our share of problems in the last 18 months have been particularly in the consumer banking area, where we are not alone. Yeah, many Pakistani banks, as you know, have suffered. I think that if you look at some of the things that we did in that area, we tried to grow too fast, in my opinion. The low interest rate environment of the 04, 05,
but that's 06, a mistake that the banking industry in general made.
I think so. Yeah. I think that, yeah. But, you know, how do I measure myself, or how does Citi measure itself in any market, is we have to do better than our peers. Absolutely. If the market loss norm is X, if we are Y, and if Y is less than X, then we've done better. Okay, yeah. But if we do worse than the market, then we've and in this case, I think, I'm not proud to report, but Citi has done worse than some of its peers.
All right, Mr. Usmani, what I would like to ask you here is that, does Citi have an equal exposure as opposed to local banks in Pakistan in the consumer banking area in Pakistan?
No. While we pioneered the business, I think, in 1994, as you said yourself in your introduction, that we introduced the credit card, we introduced personal loans, we were the first with a call center for customers 24/7. You know, I don't think in terms of asset side, we grew the business as to a size as big as the rest of our competitors. We don't have the balance sheet. We are not that big. We don't have the branch network, which is a prerequisite. Although from 6-7 branches 5 years ago, we went to 26 branches now. And we have at the moment 26 operating branches. But no, our exposure is not as big. But we've had far greater issues in some of the sectors of the economy related to personal finance, mortgages, and automobiles finance. Those are the areas that we were in. And credit cards was another area. And I think some compromises were made on the target market and the kind of customers we booked, and we're suffering. I'm not proud to report, yes, but we had a problem.
And Mr. Usmani, now when we look back at the past 1.5 years, it was an era of a global meltdown. Globally, Pakistan as such had internal problems which led to problems inside Pakistan. So looking back at the past 1.5 years, where do you think the banking industry went wrong, and going forward, how can we fix that?
I think the banking industry in Pakistan was largely insulated from the global problem. I mean, the global problems caused by instruments like mortgages and you know, securitization and derivatives, etc. We've largely remained isolated. But obviously, we are part of the system, and there's a global problem. So as I said, some large international banks like ourselves who have had problems abroad would have a different response to a domestic crisis had we the ability, because we've suffered internationally. So I think other than that, I don't see I mean, obviously, global economy, recession, our industries export out, textiles, other leather, so people don't buy that much, and volumes decline. So textile industry, which is 25% of our loans, I think, is going to have a problem. But I want to make a point about our textile industry. I always talk internally to our own people who manage and look at risk, that we have 50, 60 clients in the textile industry, and maybe 15, 16 of them are not doing well. But I think we must look at the 25, 30 names who are doing well. So they are still out there, Pakistani corporates who are able to compete, who are able to deliver acceptable quality and gain market share in this space.
So looking at the positive side seems to be the framework right now. We'll continue talking about this, Mr. Usmani. We'll take a very quick break here on Corporate Corridor. Once we come back from the break, we'll continue talking about the banking industry. Now, non-performing loans have been a problem for the banking industry. We'll talk about that, as well as the fact now interest rates in Pakistan are expected to come down in the coming days. So we'll talk about what impact that will have in sort of reviving consumer loans in Pakistan right after this break. So do stay with us.